Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then hi, my name is Erica. Sorry that I'm not using my microphone today. I'm hoping the uh, 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 audio is not too bad, but I'm charging my microphone, and since I've had a lot of technical difficulties with my microphone recently, when it said it was low battery, I was like, I have to charge. I'm not taking a chance and filming a whole video only to find out that there's no sound on it. But today I'm going to talk a bit about the Zayn Malik situation, and more than that, just how we have. I feel like as a society we have this need for people to be the perfect victim or the perfect perpetrator, and I feel like that's not really, number one, it's not realistic, and number two, it's not healthy for anybody involved in the situation. And I mean, I don't talk much about pop culture on my channel. I'm not against it. I just don't really do it because I don't really keep up with pop culture news that much. So a lot of times I feel like, well, why would I talk about something I don't know about? But in this case, I've seen a lot of the discourse going on online, and I want this conversation more so than what happened to be about the discourse and how people are reacting, because I think that says a lot about us as a society. So if you don't know, I'll give a brief overview of the situation. So Zayn is is in a relationship with Gigi Hadid, and her mother is Yolanda Hadid, who, from my understanding, is a very difficult person, and she's not very well liked because she was on a reality TV show, and I guess the way she treated her daughters on that show was not good. But then again, it's a reality TV show, so I think a lot of times people are playing a part, and it might not be how they actually are, but I don't know because I don't know her, so I cannot really comment on that. But anyway, so the background is that she's not very well liked in the public eye. And so I guess Gigi was out of town or something, and somehow, some way, the Zayn and Yolanda got into a fight, and Yolanda claims that Zayn pushed her into a dresser. So, and that's, if that had happened, that's terrible. Even if Yolanda is not a great person, you cannot resort to physical violence. But the reason I'm talking about it is not just to gossip, but it's because I think the way this is playing out in the media and the way people are talking about it is very unproductive, because since a lot of people already don't like Yolanda, and since a lot of people love Zayn because he was in One Direction and they just love him, they're like, oh good, like she deserves it. But I mean, no matter what, nobody deserves to be pushed and stuff. And this reminds me a lot about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation and how people just jump on a bandwagon even though they don't know the ins and outs of the situation, because just because you're reading about something or even hearing like court testimonies doesn't mean you know what goes on behind closed doors, because at first people believed Amber Heard when she alleged that Johnny Depp abused her. Hopefully YouTube isn't gonna hate me for using the ABUSED word, but it's hard in a video like this to like avoid that word. But anyway, so originally people believed Amber Heard and was like, that's terrible, and Johnny Depp's a terrible person. But then when more information came out and there were recordings of Amber Heard being violent towards Johnny Depp, then all of a sudden people just switched and were like, oh, it's her, she's the one that did this. But it's like, and I read an article in Wikipedia, which I thought was a really good and interesting article, and it's like, just because somebody was also abusive in a relationship does not mean they were not abused too. Because I feel like we have this idea of the perfect victim, somebody who did no wrong. But the reality is that human beings are not like that. We're not perfect. We hash out, we get angry, and also the reality of abuse is that a lot of times perpetrators of abuse have at some point been abused in their life. And don't get me wrong, I am not giving people excuses or justifying that, but I'm just saying that the whole idea that if somebody is not perfect, that they deserve whatever happens to them, is something that it's not something I am comfortable with, because people aren't perfect, and that doesn't mean that they deserve to be harmed or mistreated, or that they deserve to be victims of violence. And also, I think because both Zayn and Johnny Depp are very well liked men, and the women that allegedly they harmed are not well liked women. I think there's a lot of bias there and a lot of cherry picking what we believe. Like, oh, well, he's such a great guy, so he could have never done that. But it's like, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And that's why I don't think we should really be speculating on these things, because even though we think, oh, well, it's just in the media so I can say whatever I want, it's like, at the end of the day, this affects real people. And by you saying you don't believe somebody's story, then it's like, if people see that you're posting that on social media, and if someone in your life is a victim of abuse, they're going to feel like they cannot come forward to you because you will be like, oh, well, I don't know if I believe you because you did this and that. And that's just not a healthy way of going about life. And another thing I wanted to say is that this also does remind me of the Anna Campbell situation, particularly when Hannah's ex-girlfriend Haley came forward and said that Hannah abused her in this relationship, and then Hannah came back and released recordings of Haley saying disgusting things towards people and also heading into physical altercations with people. But just because Haley did that does not mean that Anna did not abuse her. And I think that using somebody's past or present actions as a means of deciding whether or not they were really harmed as they said they were is just not a good thing to do, because it can invalidate a lot of people. And I just think in situations like this, we need to suspend our judgments, because it's so easy to just jump on a bandwagon and be like, oh, and this person was the one in the wrong and this person was the one in the right. But we don't know the ins and outs of every relationship. Even if we watch a reality TV show and we see them every day, or we watch them on YouTube. And I think that's a testament. Why did I say testament? Whatever. But I think that's a testament to the power of parasocial relationships, and how we assume that just because we watch somebody or just because we follow them means we know them and we know everything about them, and we're like, they could never be capable of that because I know them. But it's like, you don't know them, number one. And number two, even in real life, if you do know someone and you think they're a good person, that does not mean that they're not capable of doing something bad. And I think the problem is that we want everything to fit into these nice little boxes and be so clear cut, when in real life it's not like that, because people are nuanced, people are complex. It's not like in the movie where there's one clear villain and one clear hero. It's more like people are messed up. So there's not always gonna be a villain and a hero, but just people that are going about life and messing up along the way and harming people, which is terrible, but then they get harmed themselves, and it's just a whole cycle that we don't always get to see the whole picture. But that's why I think we should be very careful when we talk about situations like this. And I will link that article down below from Wikipedia, because I think it's really interesting, and it's written by somebody who's an advocate for SA and domestic violence survivors. So I think that's a really good article. So yeah, I think that's about all I had to say today. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something, or if if this video made you think about something in a new light, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not already and you are interested in seeing more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.